to the Northwest Bruin Football Show. I'm Josh Robinson, the head football coach. And thankfully, we're back to football season for the first game of 2023, and even more joyful is the fact that we were able to come out with a win over a team that made the playoffs last year that many think are going to make the playoffs. I believe they were the 3 seed last year, and a lot of people favor them to be the 2 seed this year in their region. They are smaller classification than us. But they have a long-standing tradition. They've won state championships. Coach Hurst has been there a while, does a fantastic job with them. We felt like going in the game. We felt good about the game. But, you know, I've had several people ask me, hey, Coach, what happened? How did y'all win by so much? Well, our guys played really good, and that's great, and that's also scary for a head football coach to say, because we're talking about 15 to 18-year-old young men that can go out the next week and do it again, or they can reverse and go the other way. And we certainly don't want that to happen if we continue the trajectory. One of the biggest improvements of a team's between game 1 and game 2, I've said that when we've lost, I've said that when we won, and I will say it again now, is if we go out and make those improvements, then we're on a right path. Does this mean we're going to go 10-0 or 15-0? I don't know. We got to stay healthy. We've got to improve as a football team. But it was certainly a great start over a quality opponent with a lot of tradition in Pepperell High School. It was unique playing on Thursday. I commend our guys for being mentally tough, and our coaches. You know, Coach Fisher did an awesome job on offense, and all our coaches pitched in, and we had a good week of practice, really a couple weeks of practice, and we were able to translate it to the field. And one of the things that yielded was our new quarterback, Gavin Knuckles. It's been a long time since we've said any other names at quarterback other than Owen Brooker, who's off at Anderson College playing football, and we wish him the best of luck. But Gavin has to come in and be Gavin, and Gavin is a really intelligent player who has a lot of raw tools. But at the end of the day, he was taking his real first snap as a regular season football game. When the lights come on, you never know how a kid's going to react, but we felt really good about Gavin and his poise. He actually tied a school record for 5 touchdowns and ended up not throwing any interceptions, which is great, as well as going for 13 for 21. So we're really proud of him. Jacob Lee, I believe, got the start and did a good job at running back for us, picking up some tough yardage. Cam Collins, who's, you know, was in the mix, started last year, got hurt, and kind of hampered by injury all year, playing a lot on defense. He had 4 carries for 33 yards and a really physical touchdown run. Another one of our linebackers that we've used at running back and will continue to do both. Caden Ramsey had 5 carries for 21 yards, did a really good job for us, as well as defense we'll talk about in a little bit. Mason Mace had a really good night for us, 8 for 43. 8 carries for 43 yards, ran really physical. He's hampered by a growing injury, pulled a muscle, missed a few days, came back and just did an outstanding job for us. And then Gavin has been the case for the majority of the years as a run threat for us at quarterback as well. Had 3 carries for 20 yards. He's probably different from Owen. That would be the biggest difference. He's more of a sprinter, whereas Owen was more of that linebacker, physical type runner that still had good speed. So Gavin did a good job of getting on the perimeter for us. Receiving-wise, we had a lot of guys get a touchdown, you know, and everybody's happy. But we know how this goes. There's going to be some weeks where we have guys that have 5, 6, 7, 8 catches, 100 yards, a couple of touchdowns, and the next week they may have 3 catches for 20 yards. And this particular night was a good night for almost all of our receivers. Hudson Gray, I believe, caught the first touchdown pass on our field with 3 catches for 66 yards, also turned around and did a good job on defense. Isaiah Foster had a good night. Again, only caught 3 balls, and some people may be disappointed, but I said this, I'll continue to say this angers some people, but when we get a big lead on somebody, we were up 32-0, we got the ball, we stopped them, got the ball, and drove and scored to go up 38-0. At that point, we're going to empty the bench, and we're going to allow all our guys to play, and some people that are on that cusp but maybe still fighting for position, we're going to allow them to get some time. And because of that, Isaiah only had 3 catches. Hudson only had 3 catches, but turned in a 28-yard performance and a touchdown. They're going to be a big part of what we do this year. Austin Cooley's a fantastic receiver for us. He's a perfect complement to the guys we've got around him. He's tough, he's physical, he's really smart. He knows what to do. He only had 1 catch on the night, and I'm convinced that he's just as happy as if he caught 10 balls. because he's such a team player, and we're thankful for him. Brecken Sermons had 3 catches, 39 yards, and touchdown. Big moment for Brecken. It was a big catch, and may have been our 2nd touchdown of the night if I remember correctly. And he's just worked so hard to get the position that he does and be able to be in our wide receiver rotation. We're really proud of him and his effort and performance. Evan Jones, a young sophomore for us, who would tell you that it took him a while to kind of catch on to how things have gone, and his last couple of weeks of practice have been fantastic. So we're really proud of him and him able to catch a 46-yard touchdown pass. Kendris Douglas is another player that caught 1 pass for 87 yards, big touchdown play, I believe late in the 2nd quarter. Had a drop. Kinkins worked so hard to improve on working hard, if that makes sense. Last year, he was young. He's always been really talented. He didn't really understand. Now he's turned that corner and it has become reliable for us. And will become more consistent as time goes and he gets that experience. And then Sam Crossan and Miles Mays played tight end for us. Sam, we got him a few more reps as the game went on, and he had a catch for 10 yards on the night. So we're really proud of Sam and his hard work, and he really contributes in so many fashions in our team. You know, we may or may not call his name a lot throughout this year, but he's going to play a huge role in what we do because he plays so many has so many different responsibilities within our team. At this time, let's take a break and look at the first half highlights when we return. Here we are taking the field, you know, thankful for our county school system and the ability to put in turf, and then our booster club has done a fantastic job improving our facilities and the big run through we have there. Here we have Evan Jones, one of our sophomores, with a big return. Pretty good job by our special teams guys of getting a block. Gavin Knuckles hitting his first pass out here to Isaiah Foster. Second one to Hudson Gray, who turns a small gain into a big one. Very good job blocking on the perimeter. I thought Coach Prather and our receivers did a good job blocking in the first game as we have. And here's Hudson Gray catching a big play across the middle down the field for the first score. We actually went for 2, and Avery O'Neal called it from Austin Cooley to go up 8-0. There you see Dominic Johnson, who had a really he played last year, but he played at running back because of our injuries. He had a really good first game for us. Was really physical and downhill. So we're looking forward to that. Here Hudson Gray gets a big return, a good smart block right there. I believe that's Cade Parker or maybe Rayvon Foster, one of them, helping spring Hudson for a large return. We kind of shot the one possession where we shot ourselves in the foot there, and we end up having to turn it over on downs. I think that was Miles Mays on the tackle, and here's Avery O'Neal making a big play for us coming across the field. Slanting. Here we didn't scrape as well as we need to, but you see a lot of guys, a lot of blue shirts getting around the football, and you know you're going to make mistakes, especially early in the year, but you want to see those jerseys flying around, and I thought our guys were really physical at times, and you know here you can see what we love. Dominique, we'd love for him to make that sack, but we had guys continuing to pursue. Lucas Amos on the blitz. There's Miles Mays with the pressure, making the young man for Pepperell under duress and making him throw it out of bounds. And we make them punt again, and they get it away here, get a good roll. We've got to do, this includes me, we've got to do a better job about getting position there and trying to keep that thing from rolling. That's not just a Hudson fault, that's a Coach Robinson fault as well. We end up with a good catch, and we throw a crossing route right here to Cooley for a big gain and a first down. And we end up coming back here on defense, and they're throwing a screen. Great job by Dominic Johnson, something we preach to our inside linebackers, because of as aggressive as we are definitely going to see the screen by a lot of people. Great plays by Miles Mays there, and Dawson Whitmore also in on the tackle. Got to make that tackle. Good pressure by Cameron, but he ends up helping force a lobbed ball, which Hank Harrison ends up intercepting for the Bruins. As we come back, and Gavin does a great job of sitting in there. Our right tackle has to do a better job, who's a really good player, has to do a better job of staying on his block. But again, that's something you learn as you go through time. I'll mention those guys' names in a minute. There's Dominic Johnson again, Chance Whitfield getting in on the tackle. And our guys just flying around. There's Lucas Amos fitting where he needs to. Dominic again. Cade Parker coming up from his safety position, and we end up making Pepperell punt. We almost get a hand on that one, but I think we affected how he punted the ball, and we end up getting it out of bounds there. Gavin Knuckles does a great job. You can see his speed. Really good tackle by that young man there for Pepperell, but Gavin picks up a big gain, and then here you see Mason Mays running with a really hard gain, gaining some yards, does a really good job for us. We're excited about him getting healthy, and then a crossing route by Isaiah Foster ends up scoring a touchdown, big block by Jacob Lee, another one of our sophomores in there to help Isaiah get in, and Cristobal Campos did a fantastic job of kicking the ball how we want. We want that ball kicked into the ground. We want it hopping and bouncing, so maybe one of these days we can get a big bounce. And there, Ravon Foster with a big hit. I love Raven, and I love the physicality, but I definitely want him to bring his hands and tackle. But again, you know, the theme of the night, you see 4 or 5 blue shirts around the football. They're throwing it here. I coach the secondary, so I can say this. We have to do a little better job of lining up at proper depth based off the change, but Hudson Gray did a great job of coming and making the tackle. I believe that was Tony Bernecki in the last one. I see Dominic Johnson and Will C again involved in that tackle. I believe this is the punt that Tony Bernecki partially blocked. Dangerous play there with people around. If nobody's around, that's great. Trying to pick the ball up, but we end up pumping the short throw and throwing it deep here to Kendris Douglas as he beats everybody down the sideline. And it's going to be a really good player. He's already a really good player for us, and we're excited to see him mature as time goes. There's a big play by our outside linebacker there for tackle for the loss. And then here's a really disciplined play by Lucas Amos. Their quarterback's a really good athlete, had some big games against North Murray in one scrimmage and against Pickens in another, and he does a really disciplined job of staying home and getting a tackle, and we get a big hit before, unfortunately, Avery and Caden hit each other, and we were a little worried about them, but they're healthy and will be back to play this week as the Bruins go in at halftime up 32-0 over the Pepperell Dragons. Welcome back to the Northwest Football Show, and let's talk a little bit about our defense. We got a shutout on the night against a very quality team that I think returned 8 starters on an offense that averaged over 25 points a game. So overall, we were playing a very quality opponent, as we mentioned, and our guys really came out. Had a lot of new starters out there, and I was excited about the ability of our guys to run the football. I thought we were running the football with a purpose and with passion, and I thought they played really well. One of the leaders of that defense is always going to be Miles Mays. He started for multiple years for us now. He's just a junior. He had 3 tackles and 2 quarterback pressures in only 22 plays, so really solid night by him. A new face to the show, a new name, I guess I should say, to the show is Adrian Madrigal. Plays nose and defensive end for us, and he had 4 tackles, tackle for a loss. Not the biggest guy, but he finds a way to get the football and make a play consistently. Avery O'Neal is a guy who's really worked and didn't play football as a freshman, sophomore. I begged him in middle school. Coach Miner and I stayed after him while he was early in high school, and he's came out and done a fantastic job for us. Ended the night with 4 tackles and a tackle for a loss. And then Tony Bernecki ended up being really productive. Tony's a guy that's playing, it's unique. We've not really had these guys, but he has a knack on special teams to find the ball. He plays defensive line and linebacker for us. So he's really a utility guy for us and very invaluable to our team or very valuable to our team and ended up with 4 tackles, a tackle for a loss. He also blocked a punt and had 3 special teams tackles on the night. So really good for him. We'll see a seniors getting that rotation. Played really hard and did some good things for us, graded out really well. And then we had some other guys come in. Levi Crawford, a young guy who's high motor, high intensity, works out really hard in the weight room, had 2 tackles and a pass breakup on the night. Played really well. And then Evan Hand, a senior for us, came in with a tackle as well. At linebacker, we're really deep. We really feel good. You know, we've had Jax Brooker, Connor Cummings, and Ike Ralston, who have started multiple years, 2.5, 3 years in some cases between them. And now we've only got one returning starter with Caden Ramsey back, and Caden has moved from the inside linebacker as his primary role to outside linebacker for us, and did a really good job. He's still learning out there. Even though he played all year last year, he started every game for us, scrimmages and all that. It's still a new position. He's really learning the uniqueness of the position and the demands. Started really playing hard. We saw a big uptick from the Calhoun game to now and ended up with 5 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, and the pressure. Cameron Collins, that offensive guy that we were talking about, coming over and playing defense, providing depth for us, had a pressure on the night. Sam Crossan came in, and again, he plays inside and out, side linebacker for us, and he ended up with 3 tackles and a tackle for a loss. A sophomore for us. We knew he was a really good player, and you know, just with sophomores, it usually takes some time to kind of be as disciplined as you need to on defense and get to the places that you need. Came in with an outstanding night, ending with 7 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss and sack, and that's Lucas Amos. Just played really well for us. In our secondary, that's one of the areas that we had to improve the most. You know, we gave up too many deep balls. I thought our guys were physical. I thought we covered better. We had 1 blown coverage, which is down from 3 at Calhoun. So, you know, obviously we want to trend to 0 blown coverage. Rayvon Foster had 4 tackles for us on the night, doing a really good job at safety. He's much more poised out there with the year of experience. Cade Parker also had 5 tackles for us. He's a first-year starter as a sophomore. And then our corners all came in. Sean Davidson had 2 tackles. Hudson Gray had a tackle. Hank Harrison, who's just now started playing, he's been a baseball player for as long as I've known him, and he came out for the first year. He actually started and played in the game, came up with an interception, 2 tackles. Kyle Cummins had 2 tackles. Chance Whitfield had a tackle. Isaiah and Hudson, I believe, each had 1. So overall, a really productive night for our guys and a step in the right direction. Secondary, we've got to be more disciplined and backpedal and play the technique part. But as the season goes, as more practice goes, they'll definitely be better at that. And we're hoping for more shutouts and good defensive performances by our guys as we got this past Thursday. At this time, let's take a look at the second half highlights. Here we are starting the second half, and Pepperell elected to defer the second half and gets the ball, and we get a big stop. We get, again, more blue jerseys flying to the ball, and on 4th down, we punt it away. We've got to do a better job of getting away from it, but nonetheless, we come back and we throw the quick screen out here to Brecken Sermons. We may have missed Brecken's touchdown now that I think about it. Really good. No, we saw it. Good throw here. Another one to Brecken Sermons as he works the sideline. Such an athletic kid. Very good run by Mason Mays. Really physical. And again, he's not healthy. So we're really excited to see him as he comes back and fully gains some health. And then Sam Crossan, kid we all love, but give a tough time, does a fantastic job catching the ball and kind of gets upended right there. But then Evan Jones, one of the fastest guys on our team, who's really starting to figure things out, probably is still a few games away, but he's going to play a major role for us, not only this year but for his career. Good fit by Lucas Amos as we make some defensive calls, and he ends up fitting where he's supposed to. Very aggressive, very good play by Sam Crossan in the backfield to end up for a tackle for a loss. And at this time, we're starting to rotate people. Max Harrison is in, our freshman quarterback. Comes in, Mason Mays with 2 really good back-to-back physical runs for us. And I believe we end up going out on 4 downs there. We got to get our head up when we tackle. That's a good job by Sean Davidson coming downhill. Just got to get our eyes up. Good pursuit right here by Jacob Lee. Ends up with a big tackle for a loss, making them punt. Coach Hurst was not happy with his football team's effort for one reason or another. Left a lot of his guys in. So even as we've subbed, we have a lot of starters out there they're competing against, and our guys did a really good job. There's a great hit by Walker Jones. Unfortunately, that young man for Pepperell, we believe, suffered a concussion. We hope he's better and comes back. There's a great aggressive play by Mr. Gray. Does a wonderful job for us. Nice run by the running back here. But our guys, again, we're facing a senior. It's bigger than us. A lot of these guys out here are sophomores, a few juniors spattered in, and some freshmen. And our guys do a good job of rallying to the football and getting them down. They're starting to drive a little bit. We give up a little bit more on the inside than we need to, but I believe that's Jacob Lee that made the tackle there. It might have been Griffin McCutcheon. Really good job by Max Harrison as he comes downhill. He's going to be a really good player for us, and probably if we were pressed, we can move him up to varsity and try to force him into contribution. We got a year of letting him grow and become bigger and stronger, and this is him with a good tackle again, and we have a good freshman class. We have good skill, and we're playing an all JV schedule. Our freshmen will take the field this week versus Cahola Creek's JV, and we're looking forward to those guys. But overall, it was a great night as we get a ton of people with some experience on a Friday night, and the Bruins come out with a victory 38-0. At this time, let's take a break. Welcome back to the Northwest Bruins Show. And here we are coming to a very big week, coming off another big week, uniqueness. And we're playing Cahola Creek High School, which has been a close game the last couple of years. And, it's our rival school. They're right down the road. I don't know exactly how many miles. Has to be less than 5 or 6 for us. They've got a brand new head coach, Coach Wilson, who's been there and did wonderful things, has gone on and moved to Chattooga County High School, and Drew Carter, an alum from here that was a very good player, and it's a very good football coach, has taken over as their head football coach. Had them off to a 1-0 start versus Murray County and a big win over there. So it was a big moment for him and his football team. And they're rolling in here, and they're going to come to Bruins Stadium expecting to win, and they're going to play hard, and they're going to give us our best effort, and it's going to take a true team effort out of our guys to try and combat that and come out with a victory ourselves. We hope the whole community shows up. I would love to see these stands packed for boys on both teams, but especially the Northwest Bruins. We need to pack those stands and kind of make them it's one of the best parts of high school football is those rival games where you have that big crowd, and sometimes years later I talk to my old players, and I can't really remember if we won, but I remember this happened and this, and as we went through, and I remember the crowd erupting, and all those are a big part of a young man's development and his memories of football. And so come on out and support Northwest and pack our stadium full as we take on Cahola Creek High School this Friday at 7:30. It's going to be a warm one, so you better bring you a fan and come prepared. But I think it'll be a very interesting game that takes place on the field. Until next week, this is Josh Robinson with Northwest Football.